The Song of the Soul, these shlokas were recorded in a studio in 1992. That means 30 years ago. And it was on the request of quite a famous singer, particularly ghazal singer and all, Shanti Hiranand. It was particularly on her request, she was asking. So finally we could go one day. But it was extremely strenuous because the whole recording was done in one day. So many times cut this and power failure and all that together. But the purpose of the recording was to put people into meditation. It was done only with that purpose. The truth or the theory behind that is the sound is coming from within. So whichever mental state is responsible for producing the sound, that is, you produce the sound from a certain state of the mind, if the listeners, they are effortless, they simply surrender to the sound, they remain, just leave everything, just simply listen, not even think of the meaning. Then where from the sound is coming, it will take the listeners to that point, that state. So if the sound is produced from a meditative state, then it will have the power of taking people to the meditative state. That was the idea of recording. But only one important point there is that you have to keep away all your backlog and completely give yourself to the sound. Then it will take you. So in this support, the human beings cannot utilize it so well as the animals, maybe the plants also. Because they don't have any effortful intelligence or ego hindering the process. They are natural in that. And that was also proved because one devotee of Swamiji, she goes every summer to a place called Dalhousie in the Himalayas. Her grandfather had purchased the bungalow from one Britisher during British rule. So it's a dilapidated house, but still summer she goes there. So she reported one story, not story, it's a real incident, episode. She used to listen to this Song of the Soul every morning sitting on the veranda of that bungalow, putting the earphone. So it was silent, sitting from outside, nothing was there. And the place was infested with big monkeys. They used to create a lot of havoc here and there. So one day it so happened when she was listening, one big monkey jumped on the tile, it was tiled roof, jumped on the tile, and the tile broke and the monkey fell right in front of her. From the roof, it fell down there. She got so scared that she shouted like this, but in that process, the jack came out of those days it was all cassette player also, I believe, that mobile and all came much later. So the jack came out of the cassette player. So it started playing loudly. She was surprised that very soon that ferocious monkey sat down in front. And he went on, he or she, whatever, went on listening to the song as long as it was there. Then next day at the same time, she found lot of monkeys have come. He invited others also. She understood that I have now to play this recording. So she played it for them without the jack, with the full volume she played. Third day she found it is not only monkeys, some langurs also have come, and they have their own status, like human beings in an office when you sit the director's position, president's position and all. They have all that. So langurs are of a higher state, higher level. So it's like an amphitheater. The monkeys are sitting like that, the langurs at a certain height, and still above that there were other people also. I don't remember now who were there. So she stayed there for 7 days, of which 5 days were there, and every day she had to go and play it. And it stopped the upadravan, that's the problem the monkeys used to create over there, that also stopped because they would come to listen to the songs and go away like that. So this, we did not know this episode for a very long time. I think in 2005 or 6 or sometimes, she had come to our Delhi center, so she told about what had happened. Why did you not tell us earlier? This is something which is to be reported. We Indians are not good in reporting matters. If it had happened in America, there would be so many scientists, behavioral scientists, who would repeat that process for various places, repeat the songs and all, and try to have a statistical analysis of how it affects on the animal world or the plant world or so. But Indians are very, very lethargic about it. Indians means including myself. I did not even publish all the papers I could publish during the PhD. After PhD, just because I did not feel like publishing, that's all. This is a strange thing with the Indians. Even some great scientists, you must have heard about boson, that Bose particles and all in particle physics. Bose statistics, it is very famous. Bose-Einstein statistics, it is called. Or Einstein-Bose statistics, both are called. Actually, it was Bose's. He was a great scientist known to Einstein also, but he did not publish many of his papers. Even Jagadish Chandra Bose also did not publish. This is about Satyendranath Bose. Even Jagadish Chandra Bose also, who is compared with Marconi, because Marconi's discovery was much later than when Jagadish Chandra Bose has discovered about the plant life and all. But he would not publish whatever he would do. Finally, Sister Nivedita, you must be knowing that Vivekananda is a disciple. Sister Nivedita, at that time Vivekananda was not there, but Sister Nivedita was very close to Jagadish Chandra Bose, and the whole area, Calcutta, was very small those days. She used to help Jagadish Chandra Bose, and she would sit there, type out and get things published. Otherwise, Jagadish Chandra Bose was not given to publishing. So anyway, this happened, but we have not. I think now the story might be there in website. I don't remember. May not be also. But suddenly today I felt like saying, nowadays I often tell about this because people should know how much is the effect of sound. The sound is the word of creation actually. This Omkara we say, it is the word of creation. So it has tremendous power, because the sound is a vibration. If it is produced from the vibration in the consciousness, it has that power of creating anything that the consciousness represents. People say it is mystic, it is magical. No, it is not so. They are all absolutely natural physical truth, but subtle physical truth which people do not know. So, we should try to do a better job tomorrow perhaps, although we are not coming. There generally, I will be there, we will be there to guide the meditation. And the main point in meditation, see, in Vedantic, meditation is done for various purposes. But we are given to Vedantic meditation, if at all, which means to discover the self. That is, we always considered the I to be the body-mind limited personality I. The whole sadhana is to fuse that small constricted I into the universal consciousness. That is the discovery of the self. The self is not limited by the body-mind personality. Yourself and myself and other self, there is no difference at all. There is no two self at all. Self is transcendental. Anything we use the number 1, 2, 3, 4 is for the objects which we are seeing. When we are talking about the subject which is the seer or knower of the whole universe, there is no number. It is same for everybody. But it manifests through different. Suppose here the lights are there. You can count the lights and all. But they are all powered by the electricity which you never see. The electricity, you cannot say that for this light it is different, that light it is different, and you particularly segregate them. It's not possible. More so for the electromagnetic wave which is radiated everywhere. Wherever there is a radio or any other transducer, it is manifesting whatever is coming through the waves. Otherwise, nobody comes to know. Like that, the consciousness. But our rishis, they discovered that there is a way of having a direct experiential, we call it anubhuti, direct realization of the consciousness also. Because our mind is always occupied with various objects, small things, and that is, we are not, yesterday also I mentioned, we are not used to see or know the subject itself, which is knowing all the objects. There lies the difficulty. All the difficulty comes from there. But if we can completely forget the whole universe, when I say we forget the whole universe, means it is not that you are there and you are seeing the whole universe has vanished. It won't happen. Our body-mind personality is a product of nature, is a product of the same creation. So when the world goes, our body-mind personality, the egoistic personality also will not, it gets dissolved in that. Then we come to know what is this consciousness or self. Suppose this microphone. Will I know this microphone unless it shines in my consciousness? We will not know. Till it shines, just like the molecules here, I am not able to see. I am not perceiving anything. It is not shining in my consciousness. Now, always, it might be an object, external, gross object like this microphone or any of you, which are shining in my consciousness. So we are coming to know them when it shines in the consciousness. But equally so, suppose some thought is there in my mind. The mother's thought, father's thought, the office thought, the school thought. Any thought is appearing in the mind. Means it is appearing in the consciousness. That is also equally an object, but it may not be gross object outside our body. It is inside our body, a subtle object. But in spirituality, they are same. Everything is internal, everything is inner. The external also, what we are perceiving, it is all, finally we are interacting with what is appearing inside, not with the outer. The whole external world is appearing in the consciousness. So, what we forget is that this external world, it includes my body-mind personality. There comes the difficulty in this understanding of this concept. Not concept, the realizing this truth. Because we always try to see that, well, dream is mine. I know, the other person is dreaming differently. Their dream is appearing in the consciousness, fine. But how can the whole world I am seeing in the consciousness? When we remember that whole world, which also includes my body-mind personality as a small speck, the whole world, which includes my body-mind personality, my egoistic personality as a small speck, is appearing in that consciousness. So can we call that consciousness is within the body, it is personal to me? Can we call that? My body-mind personality with which we are associating the individuality, that is also appearing there. So this consciousness is the real Atma or Brahman or the universal consciousness in which everything appears to be. So this consciousness is the ultimate aim of all our spiritual sadhana. Whatever we may try, we may do physical yoga, we may do various meditational process, focusing here, focusing there, but ultimately it is focusing inside because it is appearing through our body-mind personality as the I we know. Throughout the day, can we know anything without the I appearing first in our consciousness? Never. Even if you think that I was born in such and such place, in such and such heaven 200 years ago. You are there, the present you are there. Then only you can think of something happened or like that. So the problem is that we are not able to understand this dimension of the I because we think that this I or consciousness is limited to my body-mind personality. Whereas the whole world, which includes my body-mind personality, is appearing in that consciousness. So it is wrong to say that the consciousness is in the body, but the body is in the consciousness is the right statement. Scientists will not agree. It is so. The what happens is a product of the body-mind personality. We call it, we means I call it awareness, to distinguish the two. One is an individual, another is that is, we often lose consciousness when we are unconscious. Then what happens? The main consciousness, nothing happens. Even when the body dies, nothing happens to that consciousness. Generally, I give an example, which I will come later perhaps, otherwise I am drifting. Today is the first class, we need not go to that. Everybody will say that mind-boggling and all. So, what I wanted to say is that to discover this I, the real nature of this I, or the real identity of us, that is the purpose of meditation also. That is the purpose of spirituality. Now, to discover that, what we have to do, first of all, we should remember that we have to get away from our usual everyday practices, what we are used to, always interacting with the objects, small things which are different from me. So how to get out of it? So Patanjali, who is a famous rishi of this Yoga Darshana, he gives, there are many instructions given. 3 are very important, 2 let us say for the time being. One is that first step is Sukhasanam. That is, you have to sit comfortably. This is very true. As if you try to sit very straight with the back pain and all, and the mind will go to the body. The mind will be disturbed by the body. So comfortable sitting is essential to not, so that the mind doesn't go to the body at all. We have to forget the body first of all. And the second is Prayatna Shaithilya. Prayatna means effort. Shaithilya means looseness. That means Prayatna Shaithilya means simply in English effortlessness. This is very, very important in meditation. Effortlessness. Oh, I am going to meditate now. Gone. It's an effort. Even when inside we are going, oh, now the mind has become very peaceful. Oh, is it the self? These are all effort of the buddhi. No effort, nothing. Absolutely effortless sitting. In Kathopanishad it is described beautifully. Yada panchavatishtante jnanani manasasaha buddhischana vicheshtati tam ahuh paramam gatim. Tam ahuh paramam gatim. That state is referred by the rishis as the supreme state. But mind you, it is the state which will not be there always. It will come and go. So, what is that state? He says, Yada pancha avatishtante jnanani manasasaha buddhischana vicheshtati. That is when the 5 sense perceptions, sense organs, they are sitting without being active, but they are not sleeping. That is why they have used the word avatishtante. It is not, they are not sleeping. In sleep also your 5 indriyas are not working. Deep sleep, not dream. In dream they are all fully active, equally or more. But in deep sleep the sense organs are absolutely silent, but they are sleeping. If you want, you cannot make them active at that time. Manasasaha, that means along with the mind. In dream the mind is very active. You have created a new world. You are playing the role of the God there. In dream, you are Brahma, the creator. So your mind is tremendously active. Even if in the dream an aircraft carrier appears, means you have created that aircraft carrier. Can you understand? For creating an object aircraft carrier, how many people are working and all? In dream you have created. Your consciousness has simply produced it. You are the Brahma there. So the mind in sleep also, the mind is not active. There is no thought, nothing. Mind is not active means there is no thought. But there again the mind is sleeping. Here they are saying abhatishtante means along with the mind, it is silent. It is not active. It can act. Just like now you are sitting, you are not activating your legs. You can do it the moment you want, you can do it. Actually, I have to do always because of my feet swelling. Always I have to pump the leg. And people will think that I am very restless, but I have to intend I have to willfully do it always, otherwise the feet will become big. So, we can activate, but we are not doing. Like that, all the five sense organs, along with the mind, they are all silent, they are not sleeping. Buddhischana vicheshtati. That means the intelligence also is not having any effort. It's just wide open. If anything comes, it will be registered, but it will not get activated. Tamahu paramam gatim. How simple it is then. But to do that, people get, in a lifetime, sometimes it's not possible even. So, that effortlessness is the prime mantra for our silent sitting also. Tomorrow, when you do, you should remember, sit comfortably and try to be effortless. Many things will come. Let go, let go. The mantra is let go. Oh, why did I do this yesterday? Oh, let go. I have to do this going back. Let go. Let anything happen. Let the whole world get completely pulverized. Nothing will happen to you, the real identity. So, let go is the mantra of meditation, that be absolutely effortless. In third one is there, it is called Ananta Samapatti. In Sutra, Yoga Sutra, it is called Ananta Samapatti. That means, Ananta means infinitude, infinite. Samyak Apatti means inducing infinitude in you. So, if you can really become effortless, it may not be necessary. But people are not able to become effortless, so a little positive effort is added. What is the negative effort? Your normal tendencies of the mind and intelligence, it will run around. It will go here and there. To replace that, you are bringing in the infinitude in your mind. Inducing the infinitude in it. Then what will happen? The mind will expand to the infinitude. You can induce infinitude only when the mind becomes infinite. So it is closer to the self, which is also infinite, and beyond that also. So if there are other small thoughts coming in, small efforts coming in, try to induce the concept of space, a spatial mind. Otherwise, the main mantra here is effortlessness. No effort at all. Even when by that the mind goes down to a very peaceful and favorable state, then also you should not try to analyze or try to conclude anything at all. Just observe, just observe, just observe. This is the way. So, now let us come to the topic. See, the whole spirituality, as I just now said, is to discover our real identity, which we call Atma. And what is the discovery? When we discover the Atma, we find that it is no different from Brahman. What is the difference between Atma and Brahman? Atma means when we are referring to our own being, there is an I-ness in us. When we are referring, it is called in Sanskrit called Aham Pratyaya Gocharaha. Aham Pratyaya Gocharaha. Gochara means it is known by the Pratyaya, means the conviction that I am, the amness. Aham Pratyaya Gochara. That is called Atma. Now, when that Atma finally we discover, we find that the whole world is appearing in that Atma. So there is no individualistic I there. So that which I have been thinking as a small I, limited by my body, mind, personality, is not different from the substratum of the whole universe, the created universe. The created universe is only appearing in that I. Then we are satisfied with the discovery that you become, in your real identity, you become universal. You become the one, or transcendental is a better word, because whenever we are saying one, means there is a concept of 2, 3, means you are again limiting it. So it is not one, it is beyond one also. It is transcendental. Now, if this is the ideal, Bhagavad Gita presents two pursuits to actualize it. The one we call meditative contemplative sadhana or pursuit. Meditative, contemplative. Meditative means you are not reading anything, you are just simply trying to go within to get dissolved in your own I. Contemplative means you are taking the help of the Shastras, but you are not moving, you are not active. You are just taking the help of the Shastras. You may not read also, but you know already the Brahman is like this, the Atma is like this, all these things. So it is contemplation on the Atma. You are thinking about that, you are contemplating on the Atma. But you are not bodily active. So this is meditative or contemplative means there is no bodily activity going on. It is actually not bodily, mentally also you should not, suppose you are composing poem, so the body may not be active, but that kind of activity also is not there when we say meditative, contemplative. Or you can say non-interactive pursuit. That is a perhaps more perfect description. Non-interactive sadhana and interactive sadhana. And interactive sadhana is when you are active, bodily active, mentally active, then also the pursuit will be there. I will tell you very briefly what it is. That in meditative or contemplative sadhana, what is the goal? Goal is just now what I said, to discover our real identity, the self. That means self and Brahman, that's the same. That is the aim of meditative or contemplative sadhana. When we say contemplation, it is actually a knowledge-oriented sadhana. That means it is divided into, will you get confused? I will again bring it down and tie it up. 3 processes, that is shravana, manana, nididhyasana. This is what the Upanishads, that Upanishadic sadhana is. Shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Shravana means you listen to the truth. Now listening means not only with the ears. Even if you know from the scriptures by reading, that is also shravana. Or you listen to some satsang or wherever about the knowing about the truth by listening or by reading. Both are shravana. Then comes manana. Manana means meditating or thinking about it. You have heard that I is not limited by the body-mind personality. I is universal. My I and your I, when I said that they are not different. It's only the same I, same consciousness manifesting through different bodies. You will not be able to accept immediately because your experience is not that. So naturally manana will take over. That Swamiji is saying like this, but I feel that I am different. I am sleeping, others are not sleeping. I get up, I see the world. Those who are in America, they are seeing a different world. Those who are in India seeing another world. So how can the I be same? So this questioning and analyzing with the intelligence, that is called manana, contemplation. You can say introspection also, various names can be given. Now, this analysis is very important, that we have to analyze with buddhi. And through this activation of the buddhi also gets purified and start perceiving the truth. So when we are certain with all the rational arguments and everything, well, this is the truth, what the Shastras have said or what the Guru has said or the saints, Rishis have said, this is the truth I can accept now. Rationally also it stands to reason fully well. Then comes nididhyasana. That is, you are no more, you don't have to think of the truth because intellectually you have understood that this is my ultimate reality. This is what I am. Then comes nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means Eka tattva ghana abhyasa. Eka tattva ghana abhyasa. Abhyasa means practice. Eka means one. Tattva means truth. Eka tattva ghana. Ghana means where there is no way to put anything in between. No segregation, no fragmentation. It's all dense everywhere. That means other than that, nothing is there. So when the mind is constantly given to the truth and nothing else, normally in manana what will happen? You will think for some time, then some other activities will come, your mind will get diverted, everything, and you will again bring back the mind to that. That is manana part. But this manana, when it is confirmed about the truth, it takes to the nididhyasana, then you don't anymore deviate from that contemplation of the truth. It remains fixed to that truth. That is why it is called Eka Tattva Ghana Abhyasa. Eka Tattva Ghana Abhyasa. Another practical way of demonstrating it is called Tailadharavat Pravritti. That is, the mind normally, you see that water when you pour, it splits into droplets. But when you pour oil, it goes in a stream, is it not? So the mind our mind is generally droplets. It is thinking of here, there, of his head, always constantly fragmented thinking. Whereas in this case, in nididhyasana, this truth, the mind will be constantly flowing in the same manner, like the flow of oil, not like the drop of water. Now these three are called Kevala Jnana Nishtha. That is the fastest process in spirituality and the most efficient process in spirituality, which is Kevala Jnana Nishtha. That means there is nothing other than the knowledge. You are completely dissolved in knowledge until the knowledge becomes actualized, and you don't have to further read the Shastras or know the truth from the... What is the difference between realization and the theoretical knowledge? In theoretical knowledge, you have listened, you have known the truth from the books or from the guru or from the saints. Whereas in realized knowledge, you have discovered the truth yourself. So you don't need any other second opinion there. Maximum you can confirm with the Shastras that yes, what I have known is also discovered by the other rishis. And we come to initially we say, oh, I have discovered the greatest truth. That emotion will come. It's such a truth that on discovery the Shastras are describing it as boo. That's an expression that, oh, what a great, aho guru, aho Shastra. What my guru said, what my Shastra said, is it that great thing? All these emotions may come. But you have to accept that it is not only my discovery. Thousands and thousands of years ago, our rishis have discovered the same thing. So I have not discovered anything new. It is new to me. But at the same time, you will have the conviction that you have yourself discovered it and you don't need any other, that it is not a second-hand knowledge. So I generally refer to as first-hand discovery of the truth. It has to be a first-hand discovery, then only we call it realization. Otherwise it is theoretical. Theoretical means you have known to a certain depth and all. It will not be fully accepted until it becomes your own first-hand discovery. Now, in Bhagavad Gita, you will repeatedly find that Arjuna is telling, after in the second chapter, Krishna has presented this truth, the Upanishadic truth, which is called here the Sankhya Yoga. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Sankhya Yoga. So, when Krishna presented right in the beginning, first chapter is actually Arjuna's lecture. Krishna has not said anything. So Shankaracharya has not commented on that, saying that it is all Arjuna's pralapa. Pralapa means delusion. There is nothing to say about it. All people are having the same delusion. What is to be commented upon? So he starts his interpretation from the second chapter, which is in the second chapter, everything is spoken of. It's a summary of the whole thing. So the first thing spoken is called Sankhya Yoga, which is about the philosophy of the truth, coming from Krishna who has realized the truth. So it had the direct effect on the disciple who was crying and weeping and sweating in grief and fear, anxiety, whatnot. Yesterday Swamiji said that his bow and arrow fell from his hand, he fell from the chariot. So, if you go through the verses, you will find that after the Sankhya Yoga presentation, Arjuna has completely forgotten about his grief. While reading the Shastras, we should note all these things. Very interesting. Whatever Arjuna was saying before the second chapter, and you compare after this Sankhya Yoga is presented, what did Arjuna say? Can anybody say? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kim asita brajeta kim. Now see, the whole grief has gone. He is no more speaking about his grandfather, killing grandfather or anything. His mind has been completely overwhelmed by the truth because it is presented by a realized person with a particular aim to one disciple there, Arjuna. So much so that he has absorbed whatever Krishna has said. Absorbed means not fully realized but understood. And then he is saying that Krishna, whatever you have said is great. I understand that I am immortal. That is the first thing. That na jayate na mriyate va kadachit. All these statements are there. Fire cannot burn. So these are all giving tremendous strength. When we understand this with humility, if we lack humility, then we will not have the transfer of the power. But when he listened to Krishna with humility, he got tremendous power and faith in it. So, what you have said, Krishna, is fine. It is great. But at the same time, I have to say that I cannot think of attaining the state from which you are speaking now. So let me go the other way. You tell me when this knowledge is realized by some human being, what happens to the human being? You mark the way. He was listening to a theoretical discourse, so to say, a discourse on the truth. Now that is fine, it is understood. But can you tell me when this truth is realized by a human being, not by a cat or dog, because we are human being, we have to know what happens to a human being. Then what happens to that being? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava. O Keshava, O Krishna, samadhisthasya sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. Bhasha means here definition. What is the definition of a sthita prajna whose consciousness has become absolutely stable, who is in samadhi? Samadhisthasya sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. How do you define? Because he is sitting. From outside, I will not know whether he is sleeping or dozing or thinking of the office. Who will know? He is sitting there. So what is the internal state? The inner path, this is. So what is the internal state of such a person who is sitting in samadhi? Can you define that? He is asking. Not only that, sthita dhi kim prabhasheta kim asita brajeta kim. Prabhasheta means how does he speak? Kim asita, how does he sit? And brajeta means how does he move? It is all figurative. Actually, he wants to know when the same person gets up from the samadhi, his mind will become stable, his buddhi will become stable. In that case, whatever has happened will be reflected in his behavior. Always it may not happen. In many cases we have found after samadhi also they are in the same soup. That's generally so. That means there is something called an interactional sadhana or the complete change of the personality involved. You cannot say that I have realized but I remain the same scoundrel. You have to undergo a certain change. Your behavior should change. That is why many people say that I have never been interested in spirituality because my parents have taken initiation from Swamiji. For 50 years they have been doing sadhana, but we don't find any change in their behavior. So the children have gone away. So see the sincerity of Arjuna. He says that let me know what are the behavioral changes of such a person who is interactive. What are the interactive parameters, that is qualities in his behavior. Sthitadhi kim pravasheta kim asita brajeta kim. Now what will happen? I have not said anything separate. What I have introduced, I am saying the same thing. I will link it up at the end. That suppose you are not fit for this meditative and contemplative sadhana, which is true of 99.99999%. Because our mind, everybody says, Swamiji, I am not able to meditate because the mind runs here and there. Or even if he meditates, if there is a marriage in the family, they get disturbed. Forget about marriage. If there is a scolding by the boss, we get disturbed. So everything happening in interactive life, they are getting disturbed. So they are not fit for Kevala Jnana Nishtha. By and large, we are not fit for Kevala Jnana Nishtha. Although it is the highest, we are not fit for it. That is what repeatedly in 3-4 chapters it is coming again and again. The Krishna, if you say that this is the truth, then I should go to the forest, live on bhiksha, on begging alms, and realize this truth. Why are you asking me to fight this great war, sinful war? Repeatedly he is asking. Krishna is again explaining that why he is asking. Because you are not fit for this. Arjuna, you have 14 years you have contemplated on how to kill Duryodhana, how to put them in punishment and all, because they have humiliated your wife. All those things are there. 14 years you have contemplated on it. Do you think that going to the forest you will be able to think of Atma or Brahman? There you will sit, you will not fight the war, but the war will be in your mind. So you are losing both the sides. Neither you are able to fight the war and do your duty and win the war or get lost, whatever. Nor you will be able to attain this Kevala Jnana Nishtha and the corresponding goal of self-realization or the discovery of the self. Because you are not fit for it, you don't deserve it. And most of us are in that state because we are very much involved in the world. So, should we then defer our sadhana till our mind becomes pure and there is no distraction? No. There comes Bhagavad Gita. What happened in the Upanishadic era is that only those who are very purified, those who did not have any worldly desire or so, or after living the life of fulfillment, etc., as householder, they used to go to the forest and appear before the hermitage to pursue this sadhana. But when we are in the world remaining active, then should we defer our sadhana and remain just active, thinking that when my mind will become pure, I will take to this knowledge? Bhagavad Gita says no. It is giving the interactional sadhana meant for everybody, whichever field he is active, even for the knowledge practitioners also. He is saying that the interactions are not a hindrance to your sadhana, as long as you are thinking that the interactions are hindrance to your sadhana. You know that your conception is not correct. And your sadhana is not going to be progressive. So, he says that the interactions are not a hindrance. Rather, the interactions are an instrument to take you to the final goal. Mark my word. We are always thinking that the interactions are hindering my progress in spirituality. He is saying no. They have to become an instrument to lead you to the final goal. How? By changing your mindset. The same thing, whatever you are doing, I am not asking you to change. You remain with that activity, but change your mindset. Now, whatever we are doing motivated by desire. Is it not? Through motivation of desire only we are doing. So it is desire motivated activity. So that desire motivated activity has to be changed into a natural activity. What is this natural? We will discuss later. Svabhava karma, that is desireless activity. Then what will happen? Then every interaction will become an instrument for your progress. How? Suppose you don't interact, you remain in the forest and try to do meditation. Meditation may not be successful also, you try whatever you do. But coming away from the interaction, you will lose the opportunity to purify yourself. Only when you interact, your ego is coming in front. Your desires are coming in front. Your various greed, abhimana and all that, all the characteristics which are making you constricted, small, limited to your body, mind, personality, you will come to know them only when you are interactive. Otherwise you will not know. Later on you will know, because when the mind becomes internally focused, then you will think that even if I don't interact, my sadhana goes on, because in the mind you will find the thoughts are selfish thoughts, they are always competitive thoughts, they are looking for some gain, they are fearful of facing something which is adverse. That means this preference and prejudice and likes and dislikes are constantly operative in the mind. Initially, we will not be able to focus because we are not used to look into our mind within. So we need interactions to be there. When you fight with somebody, then you think back that why did I fight? Being a spiritual sadhak, I should not have lost my temper. Why did I become angry? And whatever that person has said, it may be true, may not be true, but I shouted at him even more than that, double of that, whatever the person did. That is what we do generally. So, initially, the interactions are opening up to you, pointing to you that where we are going wrong, where we are becoming selfish, where we are becoming constricted. The whole process is to move from a constricted self to a infinitude, expanded self. Is it not? So wherever there is constriction, wherever we are getting contracted, we are feeling smallness within, rigidity within, heaviness within, that means we are going the opposite way. Whenever inside, deep within, we feel an expansion, we feel a lightness, we are crossing the boundaries that sometimes in a little advanced stage you will feel as if I have completely evaporated. Because this rigid sense of the body and all, it is very strong like a stone. So as we practice this sadhana, we will feel that with the thought of expansion, we feel just as if I have evaporated. We call it sublimation. This sublimation name you will find all of us use very much. Sublimation is a process where from a solid object it becomes vapor. There is no liquid state. So exactly same feeling will happen inside our mind. That we will feel that I have evaporated. I will feel that as if the spatial feeling, the sky-like, I always refer to as sky-like mind. The mind will always remain sky-like. Actually it is spatial, but space people do not have much idea. So when I say sky-like, you can associate with it, sky, like the sky. But if I say space, it is more appropriate because space doesn't have the changes in the sky also. But because we are not associated with the dimension of the space, it may not be so reflective. So we like sky-like mind. So, this sadhana, then what is the gist of it? That we should not wait for when the mind will become pure. Many people say that I would like to take initiation from Swamiji, but I feel that I am not pure enough to be initiated. If you are already pure, why should you take initiation? The sadhana is done. Actually, it is the corruption of the ego. It's the stealth of the ego. Initiation means what? You will have to listen to the Guru. Take Diksha from a Guru means you have to listen to the Guru, we have to follow whatever he said. The ego doesn't allow us to do that. So until the ego becomes completely humbled, we don't want to get into such a trap that he will ask me to become vegetarian. What shall I do then? All these problems are there. So, it is real. Many of the people have not taken initiation because they cannot leave the non-vegetarian habit because they are very fond of non-vegetarian food. So one has to get over everything. So, why did I say this? Wherever there is constriction, ego, that will be pointed out by our behavior and we can rectify it, we can purify ourselves. So, saying that the Kevala Jnana Nishtha, or this discovery of the self through contemplation or meditation, I am not fit as yet because the mind is very disturbed and restless. We cannot sit without sadhana. That when the mind becomes pure, I will do sadhana. It is not so. The sadhana is meant to purify the mind. So we must start away with the sadhana. Straight away with the sadhana, we should start right now, not delaying it. And that is why Bhagavad Gita is so great. We say that the Bhagavad Gita is a revolutionary presentation of the Upanishadic truth. Because Upanishadic sadhana, it does not speak so much about it has, but one has to understand. We don't go to that depth generally. So it does not speak so threadbare about the sadhana we need in daily life, in all our interactions also. But Bhagavad Gita repeatedly in chapter after chapter it is presenting what all we should do to attain this ultimate oneness, purity in every aspect of life. And it has taken various forms of sadhana. That all, if possible, tomorrow we will discuss. Particularly 6 major kinds of thought process which will give us that, which will make us expanded and purified. So we have to continue with this sadhana, as Arjuna had asked that Sitadhi kim prabhasheta kim asita brajeta kim. If these are the behavioral parameters of a knower, if we follow those behavioral parameters, then I am approaching that goal. The knower has known the truth, oneness of his identity, and from there his behavior is coming. Various behaviors, his non-selfish behavior, love for all those things are coming. Now, I have not discovered that truth about my own identity, but if I try to follow the behavioral pattern of a knower, that is, I also try to love everybody, including my enemies, so-called enemies. If I also try not to follow any of my greed, desireful things, but do for other people, do for the society, whatever I am capable of doing, not expecting that by doing that I will become happy. But whatever I can do, whatever is to be done, I do. So all these qualities are discussed in great detail in Bhagavad Gita. At least in 3-4 chapters, these are called Lakshanas, that is Sthita Prajna Lakshana in 2nd chapter, Bhakta Lakshana in 12th chapter, Jnana Lakshana in 13th chapter, Gunatita Lakshana in 14th chapter. Every chapter has got, this Lakshanas means the parameters, the characteristics. These characteristics are actually more or less the same. You call it jnana, call it bhakti, call it sthita prajna, call it gunatita. They are all same. They are all going to the same state through different ideology or different aspects of our character. So a person who has attained that, he will behave in these manners with these qualities. So for the other people, we have to follow those qualities, imbibe those qualities and approach. Then when we approach a certain time, naturally our mind starts becoming more and more peaceful and stable. Now in that process, you can, normally the best method is to parallelly try the meditational method also. That is, you need not defer the meditation that again I will become pure. Actually there is no end to purity also. You can go on perfecting your behavioral life to any extent you can. There is no end to it. Now, as we pursue the interactional goal, we pursue the meditational goal also. That means we are trying to understand or realize our real identity or the Atma or the Brahman through meditation as well as through interaction. This should be the standard practice for everybody. And as we are getting more and more purified by the interactional life, we are applying it to our life and getting purified, getting expanded in our mind and intelligence, You will find that the meditation is becoming more and more successful. The moment you sit, the meditation dawns. We always say that meditation, our guru, the picture is not there, the Swamiji's guru's guru. He used to say, he was from the present Bangladesh, that Bengali. He used to say that, Dhyan korte hai na re, dhyan hoy. You don't have to meditate. Meditation dawns. It is absolutely true. For everybody a real sadhak, it is absolutely true. We don't have to meditate. As the mind gets purified, automatically the meditation will dawn. When you have something to do, you are active. When you don't have anything to do, meditation will grip you and take you to your goal. So, up to what time is the class? Oh, so we have... No, but question answer, we have to do something, then only the question. Otherwise, all irrelevant questions will come. We have to present the thing to a certain extent, completion, then only they will be able to. Now, the summary of it is that the goal of this meditational sadhana and interactional sadhana, they are the same. Why? Both aim is to realize our real identity, which is called Atma or Brahman. They are all same. Now, what you do for a person who is ripe in meditative sadhana, what they do is, through meditation, they reach the samadhi state, as I have explained from Kathopanishad just now, yada pancha vatishtanta. That samadhi state, they have a direct perception of the direct realization or experience of the Atma or our real identity. But their pursuit is not over there. Because when they come out of the meditation, the world remains very much disturbing, more disturbing than previous. So what they have to do is that now whatever truth they have understood through the meditational sadhana as the goal of meditation, that Atma, they have had the upalabdhi or had the experience of that. Now they have to establish that Atma in everything in the world. They have to see the whole world as a manifestation, you can call, I would say, an appearance on that consciousness. The whole world should appear just as in cinema. You are seeing so many things. War is going on, love is going on, so many things happening on the screen. The moment the light is gone, push, everything collapses. So is it not a play in the light only? Like that the whole universe is a play in the universe, in the consciousness. So, the Atma we know through our contemplative and meditative practice will have to be finally established in our interactional life, in everything, in the whole creation. The whole creation is appearing in the Atma. When that happens, then we have more or less attained the goal. Why? Because you will not be, in meditation there is no question of any disturbance. In interactional life also, there won't be any problem of affectation or anything, because whether it is your enemy, whether it is a favorable circumstance, whether it is unfavorable circumstance, your mind will find everything as Atma. That is why the common procedure given by the Guru is that you think your Ishtadeva in everybody. What will happen? By that the mind will attain oneness. There lies the solution. And it is a universal solution. Why? As an individual, you will become fulfilled. And when you become fulfilled, you will not have all the corruptive qualities like greed, competition, jealousy, all desires. All the desire is the last thing to go, so I am not saying. All these things will be completely smoothened. So the social strife also will not be there. That is why this spirituality has lived in our country from prehistoric, thousands and thousands of years. And because of that, the Indian civilization is also prehistoric. Nobody knows when it started. It has been able to survive because of the spirituality. that they could rule away, remaining sportful about war and all. Kings used to fight with each other, but the civilians will never be disturbed by that. Till the invaders came and changed the whole situation. So the civilization survived because of this centripetal force created by the spirituality. That it takes away, the individual becomes pure, and the society is nothing but an aggregation, assembly of individuals. So if large number of people are given, and those who do not have that kind of purity, they follow the pure people, then also the society becomes impervious to corruption. The kings you will find that as Dasharatha was following Vasishtha. When Rama had a problem, they called Vasishtha and Vishwamitra, and finally Vasishtha gave all the instructions. Even when they have to do something, they would follow their guru, the rishi, to do what is to be done. When the coffer gets full, they would ask what is to be done. They will suggest that you do this yajna, that yajna, then all the wealth will be distributed amongst your people. The kings can never hoard. They were not allowed to hoard wealth. When the coffer becomes full, they must do something by which the wealth will get distributed amongst the people. So the whole society was running on the advice of the rishis. So spirituality that way is the solution for individual life to make us fulfilled, and also the social life by removing in a large manner the strife which is caused by jealousy, greed, competition and whatnot. So there lies the revolutionary representation of Bhagavad Gita. Because they understood that the Upanishadic knowledge is not possible for people to take directly, but for that the society cannot wait. We have to present in a manner so that everybody can pursue. So the Bhagavad Gita presented the same truth, same Upanishadic truth, but in a manner that everybody can pursue this truth. They don't have to wait for their success in meditation life. Meditation will come in its own way as it goes. Now you can ask questions. We have half an hour more.
So Swamiji, as one is moving towards this path of realization, it's very, very slow, the process. You think you're making progress, and then all of a sudden one incident comes up and your mind forgets everything that you've been working towards. And it is like a setback. You realize that you truly believe in staying calm, not letting anything...
Why are you calling it setback? It is a set forward, because that shows the real nature of you and you should pursue that to get rid of that. So they are really an opportunity. Whenever we are not behaving according to that, it is not a setback. It is actually the true picture is you are able to detect your true picture and work for that. The path is never ending actually. We should not think that I am going to reach the goal. The path itself is the goal. Suppose we walk on this path, then every step we are progressing. We are coming closer and closer to what our real identity is, what Atma is. That is in the path. What is Atma? It is infinitude. The moment you infinitude bring in, you will have so much of joy. Because all the constriction created by the smallness, the tension, stress, everything will go. We are unnecessarily creating the tensions by becoming small. The moment you come closer to the Atma and your mind becomes expanded, you will get so much of joy that you will never think of your progress or the goal or anything. That very walking process itself is extremely rewarding. That is, every moment you will be so cheerful in walking the path that you will forget the goal even. That is the right walking, the inner path. Thinking that I will one day become self-realized is a desire. It is not the aspiration for the self. Aspiration for the self is every moment we cannot but become the self. Say Vairagya, the self is the parakashta, the peak of Vairagya we say, impersonality. So every moment we develop that impersonality, you will be freed of the constrictions created by personal thinking, greed and all. The attachment, the clinging to certain things. The moment the Vairagya dawns, you will find that you are no more affected by the clinging. We cling to what we like, we hate what we dislike. The clinging, hatred, that will go. The moment it goes, you find that the hundred of points, the tensions have gone. We have created those tensions by all this smallness. So the path is very, very rewarding. And anytime you find that there is something wrong, which I thought that I have crossed, that thinking that I am progressing is wrong.
Okay.
It need not be there.
So it's pretty natural that...
It will be natural. If you are real sadhak, if you are aspiring for the Atma, which is infinite, which is not having any fragmentation, any constriction at all, will you not always become joyous, cheerful?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Swamiji, my question to you is, what if somebody discovered that Atma or a realization at very early age? Or do you think that it's impossible?
No, it is very much possible. So many people have realized. Shankaracharya was, after realization, he has trotted the whole earth running from north to south, east to west, and he left his body at about 34 or so, no, 32. Vivekananda left his body at 40.
Oh yes, 39 or something.
Whatever,
right?
it's a young age, no?
Oh, okay, so then they share and they go...
Our Swamiji started preaching at the age of 23, took up sannyas and...
Okay.
Now, but the realization doesn't mean that there is no further growth. The growth, there is no end to it. One can, the more you become expanded or universal, the nature will put you into still more difficult situations so that you have to grow further, to go further. See, that always Swamiji used to say that our movements, yesterday they were talking about the socio-religious reformation movements, 10 years from 1985 to 95, 84 to 94. Those cases, many people used to say, you are a sannyasin, why should you come down to these movements and all? Swamiji used to say that, is it coming down or coming up? Because whatever you had taken to be granted, it is not so. People are coming with swords before you. Police is arresting you and putting you into the custody. Custody means in the police station, where everybody is smoking, drinking and all, you have to spend the night there. So you have to see that these are all part of the world. You cannot say that this is not God, this is not Atma, then you have not realized the Atma. Atma is there everywhere. So how much your mind has embraced the whole world will be tested every moment. And the moment you find, it is actually answering his Ajay's question also. The moment you find that you are having a difficulty, you have to overcome the difficulty by becoming farther, embracing the whole world.
Okay.
Suppose a disciple comes who is very troublesome. Swamiji always says that we should have more troublesome disciples. If you are not able to accept her I am saying because our ashram is having only brahmacharinis, that means only ladies. Only myself and Swamiji are the two male persons. We will be thrown out very soon perhaps. So it's not 6, we have 7 brahmacharinis. Not to speak of the puppy, our tapaswini Surya Swarupa. Okay. So we have 7. The dog which has come, an abandoned dog, that is also lady, female. So we have 7 brahmacharinis now. So when anybody comes with a very difficult character, and there is quarrel and other people are not happy with that, Swamiji will say, we will bring in another person also. You should have all the difficulties so that you can accept the people. And there the simple is that if Swamiji has accepted her, why should you have any difficulty in accepting that person? Our Swamiji, who is your Guru, he has accepted the person, he is loving that person. Then if you cannot love that person, then you are not following Swamiji. So these are the key points which helps in our sadhana, in pursuit in our ashram.
Okay.
Did you get your answer or
Yes,
something?
I got it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to ask any questions? We have some written
Oh,
questions.
so many.
So
Let
maybe
me
I'll
see.
pass this to you.
No, I will combine them and reply.
Ask his question.
Okay.
I'll pass it. Please come forward.
I am not allowing anybody to complete their question. Before that I am answering. So you should not feel bad. If you are getting satisfied with the reply, then that should be all right.
Hi, I'm Kishore. You talked about desires. So I had a question. Aren't there good desires and unnecessary desires?
Yes, definitely.
So isn't having a good desire good? Why should
Yes,
that be
good.
desireless?
But finally, to get to the
Get to that
transcendental
final
state,
state.
you have to overcome that also.
Yes.
Desire also, good desire also is a limitation.
Like I have the
See, the
desire to
papa and punya in religion, always people try to have punya. And papa should not. Papa means sin and punya means virtue. But in spirituality, finally, both papa punyas are papa because they are constricting us, making us small. So we have to transcend that.
Two sides of the coin. Right? So,
You can say. So you have to go beyond the duality there.
correct. So when you talked about, what is it?
What is your profession?
I'm in the technology side. I'm a product manager.
Technology means you are an engineer.
Yeah, more of a business-related engineer, yes. But so when you talked about the two types, right? One is the contemplation aspect and preparing, getting your mindset to be for that. Another is what the Bhagavad Gita preaches, right? In terms
Bhagavad
of
Gita preaches
interaction.
both.
Both, yeah.
Both are there. One is interactional, one
Yeah,
is non-interactional.
non-interactional, yes.
But Bhagavad Gita emphasizes on the interactional part because that is applicable to all.
Okay.
Non-interactional part also it has mentioned, and the combining of the two, that I will come tomorrow and day after, that how it is combined and what are the instructions for that.
Okay. So that was my main thing. I had one out of syllabus question, but pointing to what you talked about earlier about the sound of the mantras. But isn't it also beneficial to know the meaning of the mantra?
Yes, definitely.
Without
Not
just-
only meaning.
Yeah.
By knowing the meaning, you have to go further to have the bhava. Bhava means the emotion connected to that.
Correct.
Suppose you know Brahman is universal, non-fragmented, or Atma is universal. Now you know the meaning, but that will not give you the real benefit of it. You have to become that because it is about your own identity. Atma we are talking about is about our own identity. So initially from the scriptures, we read about the Atma, come to understand the Atma with lot of intelligence and all, we understand what the Atma represents. Then it is only theoretical knowledge. This Atma, whatever I have understood, is only about my own identity. So unless what we have known about the Atma becomes my own,
Part of it.
and the two get fused, it's not complete.
Correct. So, but don't both go hand in hand? I mean,
Yeah.
without knowing the meaning, you're kind of incomplete. Knowing
Yes,
the
yes.
meaning
Without
also, you're
meaning,
kind of
how will you have the bhava? The meaning
Yes,
should
yes,
come
definitely,
first,
yes.
then only the bhava.
Got it.
Shall I go to the written ones? They have given earlier. Please repeat the definition of Sankhya Yoga. I have not defined Sankhya Yoga. I said it is about nobody has written the name. You should always put the name. There is a column here. Date and name you should write. Sankhya Yoga I have not defined because all theoretical aspects I have been keeping away for as and when comes. But it is the philosophy of the Atma, you can say. Sankhya has come from Sankhya. Sankhya is samyak khyayate iti Sankhya. That means which is found everywhere. Atma, we think that Atma is within. That means Atma is not here, Atma is not there. It is not so. Actually, this body-mind personality is appearing in the Atma, which is universal. So it is samyak khyayate, it is everywhere the Atma is there. So the philosophy of Atma, it's called Sankhya. And about the Sankhya is Sankhya. So Sankhya Yoga is the truth of the Atma or the Tattva or philosophy of the Atma. Okay? Who has asked this question? Always write the name, it becomes easy. How does grace of the Guru or the Lord operate on us? What are the signs of Guruji's grace? It will operate only when we are loving the Guru, we are humble. The grace is always there, particularly Lord. There is no Lord. Whatever Lord's grace, it is there everywhere. It depends on our surrender to that. See, there is a universal harmony on which everything is operating. The earth is going around the sun. Is there desire in it? If there had been desire, then the earth would have stopped long back. I am tired like Sadgun. Today let me take half an hour rest. Can you imagine what would have happened if the earth had taken half a second rest? The whole thing would have collapsed. The plants are growing. How much it goes? So many leaves come up in one night. The flowers are blossoming. Is that desire? You put the lipstick and facial and all, thinking that today I am going to a party and everybody will see me. If it is not there, you don't decorate yourself. Is it not? The best sari you put on, that people will see. The flowers, the best of flowers are blossoming in the wilderness. Even the bee may not come there sometimes. But it is just blossoming as a natural harmony. It has its fulfillment in blossoming. Like that, our human personality also, it has its own blossoming. That is what the non-desire, the actions not motivated by desire. By desire, we are hindering our natural fruition, our natural blossoming. We will become like the flower with whatever quality. Some flowers are red, some flowers are white, some are yellow, some are small, some are very big. Does it make any difference? All are equally beautiful. Is it not? We are people who are given to preference and prejudice. So the small flower will not care. Oh, grass flower hai. That's a grass flower. And dahlia, you have manicured made such a big. This is all human corruption. Everything in nature, even a grass blade is so beautiful, you go into it and see. Everything is integrated. The whole nature is blossoming with the natural harmony. So when we are free of desire, greed, etc., basically desire, then we will also be functioning as a part of nature with lot of joy. Not joy coming from anything, joy of blossoming. So the grace of Lord is always there. Similarly, if somebody comes to a guru, the guru's grace is always there. It depends on the disciple or the devotee to know the grace and to have the grace. The grace is always there. What will the grace do? The guru, by his very nature, he is infinite. He is always spreading, radiating. It is because of our constrictions, our rigidity. Like a stone wall, we are hindering that. Otherwise, everybody would have become knower in no time, just by the radiation of the Guru. But it doesn't happen because of our own restrictions. So we have to get open, we have to open up ourselves to the grace. That much, whatever amount we open up, that much grace will be felt. What are the signs of Guru's grace? The sign that you will always be cheerful and humble and not egoistic, cheerfully doing everything. The most disliked work also you will do cheerfully. After going to the ashram, I was mostly grazing the cows. They had cows and calves, and I taught them Bengali so that I can converse with them very well. The squirrels and birds, they used to come on my lap and That of course we like, but many other things which we would not like, getting arrested by the police and all, that also we had to do. So the lakshana of Guru's grace is that your mind should remain cheerful. It should not have the heaviness of... That heaviness is the selfish constriction we suffer from. One of my shortcomings is reaction by realizing my voice, by raising my voice a little or harsh tone when I am falsely accused. Why? It need not be always false. We think we are falsely accused. That whenever you are accused, you should think that there is some truth in it. Or even if it is false, how does it matter? Suppose somebody is falsely abusing you. By falsely abusing you, he or she is getting some joy. Why don't you get very satisfied by that? I have not done anything to him or her, and she has become cheerful or joyous by abusing me. Let her abuse me more. That is, poetries are there. Bhartrihari has written, Buddhadev also had written, all these things are there. Bhartrihari says that, dadatu gali, gali mantah bhavantah. He says that you are giving me abuses. Bhartrihari also, this is a poem by Bhartrihari. You go on giving me abuses. A person can give whatever he is having in his store. I don't have any abuses in my store. How can I return anything to you? In this world, a person gives whatever he has. I don't have abuses in my... And in our case, what happens? Somebody abused and went away. And we get so agitated by that. Why did she falsely abuse me? That person has perhaps forgotten that he has abused. And he is taking tea or samosa in the restaurant happily. But we are still agitated and fire inside. So we should allow them to abuse. As long as it is not having any practical difficulty otherwise. In English, two words, anger and hate, are similar to krodha and gussa in the Hindi. Gita says, Krudh is dangerous, but what about superficial anger? I will discuss this later on because the qualities will come at that time. Who is Shobhana? So you remind me, qualities we will discuss. That these are all to do with the terms, all are equally harmful. So is it BMI evolves into small I and sum of all individual I is I. No, whatever this kind of model you make, that is, you have to overcome that model. That is why our Shastra said that neti neti vachanair nigama vochuhu. Whatever concept we make about understanding Atma, finally we have to overcome all that. Neti neti means na iti. If it is a concept and we say iti, that means concept means again it is an object for my intelligence. Any concept formed about Atma, that this is one, this is this, this is that, it is not an object. Atma is what I am, the subject of everything, the seer of the whole universe. So any conceptual formation about Atma, we have to overcome finally. Is Jnana Yoga in Bhagavad Gita same as meditational sadhana? And why does Krishna say, what is that? Karma Chotra is better than... Karma Yoga is better than... No, he did not say Karma Yoga is better than... First of all, Krishna has not... Only one place he has used the Karma Yoga word. But how karma will become yoga, he has presented for that the Buddhi Yoga. The Bhagavad Gita Yoga is actually Buddhi Yoga. That means how the Buddhi should get anchored in the Atma, in deciding and taking all the decisions. The Buddhi has to get anchored in the real truth of the identity. So then all karma becomes yoga. But that is called the buddhi yoga when the buddhi is anchored in our real identity, in inmost self. So applying buddhi yoga, we are making all our actions as yoga. That is karma yoga. How you are making, that is Bhagavad Gita. That buddhi yoga is there. But jnana yoga is actually the kevala jnana nishtha, as I explained today, which can go without the interactional aspect also. Kula dharma and jati will be destroyed as the result of the world. That is Arjuna's statement. I said that Shankaracharya said it's all delusion. Krishna approved their kula dharma destroy, for example. No, it doesn't do anything with kula dharma also. It was Arjuna's pralapa. He said that if we fight the war, kula dharma will be destroyed and all. Who has written this? Actually, it is not so. Those are the topics for dharmic life which can be discussed, but not part of it. It is swabhava dharma has to be discussed in Bhagavad Gita, not kula dharma. That is, everybody is born with 11 o'clock, no? Everybody is born with certain tendencies. Everything in nature. This flower is red, another flower will be green, some will have some medicinal properties, some will be poisonous. Like that, each human being is born with certain properties. But because of our desires, we are ignoring, we are neglecting those basic characteristics and taking to others' dharma. Paradharmat bhayavaha, paradharman bhayavaha. We are leaving our swadharma and taking to paradharma. I generally give the example that whoever does a better result in the school, 10th class or so, wants to become IT. Why? She has not developed any fondness for IT. They're wanting to take IT because of the money involved and the position involved or something. That is the greed and desire which spoils our natural. Suppose a person would have become the famous artist, she will also take to IT. So that is where we are neglecting the swadharma. That is why that story of the Vyadha is there in Mahabharata, that Noah who was selling meat. So all these examples are given so that everybody will work according to. Suppose Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Dev and Vivekananda. In their realization, both have realized the same truth, the same Atma, the same Brahman. But in their activity, are they not poles apart? What was Ramakrishna Dev doing and what was Vivekananda doing? In our case, what is Swamiji doing and what was Baba doing? Entirely different. Because what the person will do is that realizing the same truth about their identity as it will manifest through his personality. The personality has got different colors and different textures. According to that will be the activity. No two person will be the same in this world. They will do according to them. So that is the Swadharma Bhagavad Gita speaks out. Swadharma, Swakarma, these are very important in the 18th chapter. I don't think we will have time, but we will see. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Hari Om Tat Sat.